Hello again, everyone. Just a slightly different type of video today. I haven't really done very much on the TVR, but I just thought I'd do a quick video, let everyone know where I am and what's going on. Still waiting on valves, intake valves for the heads, but I've kind of expected that. They'll be probably another month away. The pump here, this finally managed to pull these bearings and seals out. This bad boy here, I haven't split that in two yet. I'm a bit nervous about that. It looks like you can press it through from the center, but there's not much of a lip there to grab onto, so I've actually just bought a ultrasonic cleaner. So I think I'm dreaming, but I think I'll put that in the ultrasonic cleaner first, and maybe that'll loosen it up. I don't know. Otherwise, probably the next move I'll make is this cover. I've seen a bloke, I think it was on one of the Facebook pages, actually made up a timing indicator, which the Cerbera doesn't have from standard. And I've been racking my brains trying to think, well, how am I going to set the camshafts in that thing if I don't know top dead center on number 1 and number 2 cylinders. So my next job will probably be make a piston stop and find top dead center on 1 and 2, and then make up a bracket of some sort with an indicator there, which would just make things a lot easier setting the camshafts. Maybe I'm missing something there, let me know. Just let me turn this horrible light off. Alright, so yeah, I thought I'd just sort of, as you can see here, I've got bearing pullers and a Dremel. It's all the things you need to remove bearings from a TVR engine parts. Thought I'd just sort of show you around the shed at least a little bit. Some of the other things I've got going on. So these two bad boys here, I do more miles on these than I do on pretty much any other vehicle that I own. Got this, let me know if you're interested, as a 1980 XS 650 chopper. Then I've got a 1980 XJ 750 rigid chopper again. I don't know, I quite like the old Jap stuff. Yeah, something a little different. And my channel is originally, it's called Mr. Nice Guy's Buggy channel, because it was originally designed for, I just put up race footage from this bad boy. This is a AR51 buggy that I built here in the shed. She's seen better days, and I actually can't wait to get back onto this project, because this is the single most rewarding project I've ever done, was building this thing. And racing this. It's a Gixxer 1000 engine. That engine's blown up, but racing this is intense, shall we say. Yeah, just a quick look around. Yeah, she's been gathering dust for a few years. I was at a club race meet, and one of the oil lines to the oil cooler let go. But this is in the middle of the race, so it basically just pumped all the oil out of the engine, and they don't last long at 8,000 RPM with no oil. So that was hose down there, probably a bit too close to the exhaust. Of course, I won't do that again. But yeah, she's a good thing. One thing I did a little differently from other people is, geez, it looks horrible now with all this dust, but it's actually got a paddle shifter. Well, there's a push-pull cable there, so you can actually shift. I mean, this is just metal tube, you know, it's hardly F1 style flappy paddles, it's flappy metal tubes. But no, it works a treat. But yeah, the motor's seized, but I have a solution for that. So I go in the other shed. No one's seen the other shed yet. There's well, no one on YouTube anyway. That's the solution right there. Ooh. Even though it's written off, yeah, it's a lot of motorbike. That's a big motor. So yeah, ZX14, she's a physically bigger motor, and yeah, a bit more power. It comes with fancy exhaust. I paid $3.5 grand for this thing, and I'm hoping I can make a fair bit of money back when I finally strip it. Apparently that exhaust alone is like a couple of grand. We'll see what happens. Now here they have my new toy. This is where the parts for the oil and water pump for the Cerbera are going to go. This actually just arrived today. Oh yeah, that's just heating up now. So it's a ultrasonic cleaner. I don't know much about these. I've just basically put like a mix of simple green and just this wash and wax. I didn't want to put too much wash and wax in there because obviously I don't want to wax engine parts. But I'm actually not a big fan of simple green. I don't know what people. Everyone seems to recommend it, but every time I've used it, it's been weak as piss. So, but that's what I had laying around, so I thought I'll give that a go. Never heard what the noise was. Yeah. And then over here I have a CNC router. This thing, as I think I said before, this is an X-carve. Like, this is basically the Fisher Price of CNC. But I don't want to bag the thing out because I've cut so much stuff with this. All the dash panels in the buggy, brackets. I mostly use it to cut aluminium and plastic. You can see I've done some HDPE there. That's breadboard plastic, which is absolutely horrible stuff, although I've kind of almost got it dialed now. But yeah, mostly aluminium sheet, and I've beefed this thing up. You can't see, but underneath there, you've reinforced the X-axis. That's what everyone does. But I've actually got the thing sitting in this black plastic tray. So I run a coolant just with just an aquarium pump. Actually, I'll turn that on now. There you go. Exciting stuff. Yeah, but the big thing I've been working on is this bad boy here. It's a CNC plasma table. Now, I actually got most of this built as it is before I even bought the Cerbera. So yeah, I've pulled my finger out and this week, because I was kind of waiting on parts for the Cerbera. I thought, I've had enough of this thing sitting here, so I'm gonna start making moves to get it done. You see, that's what I was cutting out of the plastic. The the mounts for this. This has got kind of a breakaway style mount for the torch. At some point I'm waiting on my electronics for this. I'm going with a Masso if anyone is interested. So yeah, at some point I've got to make up a mount for the computer box, and then this is the cable for the plasma here, so that's got to sit. You really want the plasma sort of quite far away, but it's got to be up high because the cable's got to obviously got to move to everywhere on the table. So yeah, I was actually thinking of putting a little pulley up there with some sort of thin rope to like a big fishing sinker, just to support this cable sort of in the middle there. Yeah, something like that. So I don't know, either that or a bit of elastic. Yeah, so that's where I'm at. What are we at? 27 degrees. I've set it at 75. So yeah, let's see how this thing goes. Alright, so this is the before. You can see this part, this back end in particular, is pretty grimy. Yeah, it looks like this water pump. Oh, she's going to be a tight fit. Alright, well, might do that one last. So that there. Just top this up. Cold water. I think that was a bit much, but we'll see. Right, so that's going to drop the temperature. All right. All right, well, I might just wait until this gets up to temperature, or at least, you know, gets a bit closer. I suppose it'd probably help if I put the lid on. There you go. Alright, so this thing's been sitting here about half an hour and it's only up to 36 degrees, so I might just hit the go button and let it start cooking. Alright, now a bit more buggy talk. Some of you may have noticed in the background earlier on, I had a new purchase, or new to me anyway. I just bought this bad boy here. Let me just move some of this stuff out of the way. This is a what they call an RPM reverse box. Now, for those of you who aren't into sort of mini buggies or whatever, obviously any motorbike engine vehicle, the big problem is you've got no reverse. So I got myself this reversing box. Now this sort of serves a couple of purposes. Again, if you're not into mini buggies, this might be news to you, but the problem with the mini buggy is I'll go outside to show it. is you obviously need a very different gear ratio than you do with a 150 kilo motorbike. So what you have to do with most setups is you just run a great big sprocket at the back. I think that's what is it, like a 60 tooth, I think. And with this one I was running, I sort of switched between a 14 and a 15. I kind of preferred the 14, but the problem you get with the real small sprockets is the chain has to turn around a tighter corner, so to speak. So each linkage of the chain moves that much further. Now you might think, oh, what does that matter? But well, it makes heat, and that's part of the reason these things have a tendency to chew through chains like there's no tomorrow. Now, another thing I ended up doing with this one is I've got an idler pulley sprocket there, which wasn't the greatest idea in the world, but I think I've pretty much got it dialed now. So originally this pulley, this idler sprocket, ran on a bearing that was just pressed into place. But if you can see there's an Allen key there. What I ended up actually doing was, because the press fit wasn't strong enough for the load it was under, it used to come loose and wobble around. So what I ended up doing was machining basically 2 discs that go either side with 3 bolt holes through that basically clamp the bearing into the sprocket, and that actually worked pretty well in combination with I'll show you in a second, but up the front there's a eBay windscreen washer bottle with transmission fluid in it, with somewhere here, is this it? Might be it. Yeah, basically just a dripper. I had a button on the dash that I just, in a race I just push the button a few times just to keep the chain lubricated, and that actually worked quite well. The amount of chain stretch just dropped to almost zero. Now, another thing too, you might wonder, well, why do you actually need that idler there? Well, you need the idler because the chain's got to clear the gear shift, because you've got this great big sprocket on the back. So the only way around that is to cut the bottom of the sump and re-weld the bottom of the sump, like take that much out of the sump, which at the time I didn't think it was worth it, but it's worth it. And when the ZX14 goes in, I'll be doing that for sure. And it just gets the motor lower too, so geez, she looks terrible. Yeah, as I said, can't wait to get back on it. Now I've actually got 2 reversing gearboxes. One is the RPM box that I just showed you, which is an American made one, and then hidden away in the corner here I have this shiny beast. This is from Proformance in Perth. Now this one was not actually designed to be used in that exact application. It was designed to be used to put like a ZX14 motor in a Yamaha XYZ or whatever they are, or a Can-Am, whatever it is. And so this would sit in front of the motor with a shaft driving it. And here's your selector here. There. Anyway, but the gears in that one are all the quick change speedway gears. But the problem I had with it, your gear ratio, like the gear ratio of the actual box, like if you look at the top, you've got there's two gears there, your speedway gears that you can change, but the actual ratio of the box is like, it's something like 2 to 1 if you're going in reverse, and 2.2 to 1 going forwards, or 2.4 or something like that. It doesn't actually sort of work out for, imagine with it orientated like that, looking from the back of the buggy with the motor in front of it and a sprocket on there, the ratios kind of don't work. And I racked my brain thinking, well, what can I do? Now you could, at some point I'm going to get a CNC mill, because I just keep having these ideas, but I was thinking, well, I could make a new case on the right hand side there and have the shaft come out that side, and then flip it around, or yeah, but I'm not sure. But I thought when this one came up, because these are pretty good, these are known for being quite reliable, although not as burly as that thing. Ultimately I want to build a 4-wheel drive buggy, so I figure I'll just keep that for that project and keep this for the buggy that I've got. So yeah, that's where I'm at with the buggy. The good thing about this too is this is 3.9 to 1 ratio, so most of your gear reduction is done in the box. So I'm pretty sure you can get, or you can certainly adapt or make a sprocket to you know, like a 20 or a 22 tooth. Then you can run an 18 tooth on the front, and an 18 tooth, because it's a much larger diameter, is much easier on the chain. And but having said that, I know the previous owner of this attempted to make a an enclosed chain drive, and I don't know that he had much luck with it, but I'm going to try and do it as well, so wish me luck. But the way these work, as you see there where it's been mounted, it's got a slotted hole, so basically you adjust your chain tension by sliding this whole thing backwards and forwards, which I'm not real keen on. So my idea is, inside my chain box I'll have a like a tensioning sprocket in there, in an oil bath. So yeah, my mode of failure is going to be completely different to the last bloke's, but we'll see what happens. So yeah, let's go and have a look, see how those parts are going. Alright, so a couple of hours have gone by, and with this here, that actually looks a hell of a lot better than it was. Still not perfect, but way better than it was. It looks like here there's, I don't know, some sort of adhesive or something that the ultrasonic's just not touching. It's actually quite hot. A big blob of adhesive or something there, or that might be some epoxy even. But yeah, that's way better than it was before. So now I'm going to drop this bad boy in there. Right, obviously that's not going to sit all the way in, so I have to turn her over halfway. Away we go. Yeah, the thing's actually up to 60 degrees now, so might work a bit better. Alright, we'll come back when it's done. Righto, so I've got a couple of bits out. I've got this piece here, I think. they could probably go back in. It's not quite there. And I've got this section here. Just looking at this, the it's got some sort of gummy, like a sealer type deal on it. Yeah, oh yeah, that's coming off. But this is the piece that I haven't actually split into its two halves yet, so and along this, still a little dirty there, but I kind of expected that. This is yeah, this is where the water has run, so yeah, I expected a bit of sort of corrosion there. But look at that steel fitting. That was black when I first threw it in. So yeah, still got the water pump cooking away in there. It's actually up to close to 70 degrees now. So yeah, overall pretty happy with it. I'll get back to you when it's all done. Right, so I've had these parts cooking at like 65 degrees for, I don't know, about 3 beers worth, maybe an hour or two. So I'm going to drain it out through my handy drain line. We'll have a look what we've got. Got the old garden hose here. It certainly looks cleaner. It hasn't quite cleaned everything perfectly, but yeah, it's definitely taken a fair bit off. Yeah, it doesn't seem to like taking off, there's residue of yeah, silicone sealant here. I'm guessing the ultrasonic doesn't really touch that. Yeah, let's so well, these parts are definitely cleaner than they started. It's not too bad. Not bad at all. Well, I'll call that a win. All right then, so yeah, hopefully next time my video will be yeah, making a bracket for cam timing, finding top dead center on the engine, the exhaust header wrap that I still haven't done, the heat shielding in the engine bay, etc, etc, plus probably more on this bad boy. But until then, I'll see you all later.